the channel, everybody. Today we are going to be discussing the Lexus GS300. I have owned, and I'm going to say this now, 7 of these. This is my 7th one, and I believe that means that then I'm into these cars. I keep reverting back to them every time I have an opportunity to buy one of these. I buy it. So we're going to go through sort of, not necessarily a review, not necessarily an owner's review, anything like that. I'm just going to chat about why more people should own one of these. Why you should go out and buy one of these cars right now. Because they are a hidden gem. Because they are not underrated. Because I say that a lot on this channel. I just feel like they just need a bit more spotlight on them. And I feel like more people need to get into the Lexus brand. Because they're really, really missing out. Especially if you're on a budget. Cars don't get much better than this. In my opinion. You can all tell me I'm completely wrong in the comments below. What else would you buy for the money? £1,000, £2,000, £3,000. Luxury, automatic, leather seats, heated, good sound system, fancy engine. What else would you buy for the money? But today's about my Lexus, because I friggin' love these things. Onwards to some luxurious driving in my Lexus down a B road. So we're going to start by introducing my Lexus GS300, the one I own at the moment. This is a 2002 model with the VVTi engine. They had a mild facelift, I would say, in this generation because it was a later gen of the Mark II. The interior was slightly different. The steering wheel is definitely different. You have buttons on the steering wheel to go up and down on the gearbox. You have the VVTi engine, which in my opinion is a little bit more sprightly. You get a little bit more out of the car. That's not why we're here though. We're not talking about performance numbers or different variants of the cars, because in my opinion they didn't do a crap version of this car. You can't go and get an horrible cloth interior one unless you're buying an Aristo from Japan. Some of them came with cloth interiors. I don't understand that. Lesser models, Japan, all that sort of stuff. I have seen it. They do a cloth interior in the Aristos, non-turbos usually, but a lot of turbos did come with them too. If it was me, I would of course go for a leather interior car. But the one thing I never went for though was this colour combo. A sort of, I'm not even sure what this colour is, brown mocha, I'm going to call it. The dash is definitely brown mocha, the seats are lighter brown mocha, and the paint is silver, but sometimes it looks slightly silvery gold. Two combinations I would have never gone for, but I fell in love with this car, as I have with previous models of this Lexus GS300 that I've had in the past. I've had a 3rd gen GS300, which I still think is the best value for money car, newer car you can buy on an 05 55 plate, 3 litre V6 up front. You cannot beat that car. It is a lovely thing. And they're like £2,000 these days. Still hell of a bargain car that. But we're talking about the Mark II today. It of course has up front the glorious 2JZ non-turbocharged engine, and I will say that now. But this one, and the reason I bought it is because it has 199,000, well today it has 199,453 miles. So this is on the peak of being a 200,000 mile car. And I'm gonna say this, and we're only starting a video really about this car. I've owned a fair few cars, 50, 60, 70 cars in my ownership time of buying silly cars. And in fact, I've owned M4s, I've owned RS3s. If I was gonna pitch this against my M4, and people will hate this, this is a better car. It is so much nicer. It is nicer to drive around in. It is comfier. It's still got a bit of power. You ain't got 500 horsepower, it's not gonna rip your face off. And it ain't gonna be on an end-OM car, but for me personally, on a daily basis, this car is so much nicer than some hunkered down, ridiculous car as we cruise past these cyclists. But it's a car that no one's going to buy. Nobody buys this car or any of the Lexus brand. I've never understood it. I've in the past asked the question as to why. People have always said, oh, the Lexus brand is for old people and there's a slight whiff of grandad about it. I really don't see it. In fact, I think it's the complete opposite of that. It goes under the radar, this car. No one notices it. You can waft around in complete luxury on some of the nicest suspension you're going to get on a sub £2,000 car. You're going to retain still 25 mpg around town, 30 on a run all day long, because of the glorious, again, 2JZ up front that just consumes fuel in the best way. You have these seats that are just exquisite. If I was to design a seat, this is exactly, I'd just take this seat out and put it in a car. I always tell people, like, honestly, if you're building a car and you want some sort of luxury in it, buy a GS300 set of seats. They're heated, they've got electric functions, they are the comfiest seats. So honestly, I do not sit in many cars and I think, yeah, I'll just go to Scotland in this all day long. There's a few, yes, newer cars that I do feel like are as luxurious as this, but this is a 2002 car. This was, you know, designed in the mid-90s, this car. And the seats are just on another level. In fact, I think the whole interior is just a lovely place to be. You have padding on the doors. Where you sit your arms in the car and you relax, everything is where you want it to be. The center armrest in the back is it's like a pillow. It's the comfiest thing to put your elbows on you ever going to experience in a car. Unless you're paying ridiculous money for a Bentley or a Rolls Royce, you are not going to find luxury like you get in one of these. And it's quiet. It's not letting me know that the outside world is even there half the time. You have a sunroof that works, again, fantastically. A 2002 car, 200,000 miles on it. Everything works, every single thing. The VSC light comes on and off, and that is a very Lexus GS300 thing, believed to be in the ABS and all this sort of stuff. But I don't notice that. If you put your foot down, yes, it might spin a wheel in the wet, but honestly, you don't notice that. That's the only downfall I've ever found in any Lexus that I've ever owned, is VSC light pops on and off when it fancies. Other than that, I've done maybe 60, 70, 80,000 miles in these Lexus, especially a Mark II generation. And not once have I thought, oh, my back hurts. Oh, I could really do with a sit down somewhere else. Oh, I hate the way they've positioned that. And oh, the window's so loud and the stereo's not good enough and the heating's crap and the heat. Never have I ever questioned how good Lexus made this car, because I genuinely think they made one of the best cars that no one knew about. Still today, no one knows about these cars, and look straight past them and buy some complete other random terrible car that never had the design or the money spent on it like one of these did. If it is a stigma thing, I don't get it. In my opinion, Lexus to me is like a prestigious brand that a lot of people have seen past because of Range Rovers and, you know, big luxury SUVs came out subsequently after this, and it sort of dulled down the idea of a luxury saloon. It's such a shame, because these cars, mate, but I'm going to say it again, no one's going to buy this car. No one's interested. No one wants to cruise their family around in this. As you can see, I've got a car seat in the back. I do the school run in this every morning. Not once has it been freezing cold and, oh, it's an old car and I don't like it. I've had comments from people that have never driven or been in a Lexus and get in and go, wow, it's comfy in here and it's quiet and it's nice, and how much are these again? This is ridiculous. Why do I not know about these cars? And that's sometimes my job here on YouTube. I feel like exposing you guys to cars that you may not have even thought about, and will get you thinking into the idea that maybe something like this is for you, or maybe it's completely not for you and you're so buried in other, you know, branded cars that you'll never see the offerings that something like this will give you. And in fact, when I first bought my first one of these way back, I must have been 23 years old. 23 years old, I bought my first Lexus. 10 years ago, I bought a black one. It was lovely, 155,000 miles on it, and I drove that round for, you know, an extended period of time, and I was just like, does it get any better than this? And do you know what? I chased cars. I chased very, very different cars for a long time, and I always kept coming back to one of these. Now, I know I've waffled on a lot. There's a Bifa lorry in front of me reversing into this Londis here. And I'm going to talk about price, because if you have got to this point and you've listened to me babble on about how good these cars are and you want to know how much they are, jump on eBay, have a look. They were £500. People started realising that, yes, they have a good engine, a naturally aspirated 2JZ. I could do something with that. I could rip it apart and put it in a different car, a project car, whatever, which is sort of what I've done with my Cadillac. That has of course pushed the prices up, and I feel like subsequent Lexus models have come out and they've just been inferior to this. They really have. The Mark III I feel like is again another hidden gem. I will get another Mark III at some point. I would love to find a really cheap one and daily it, because I still think they're bang for your buck, they're the best daily driver. But it is of course, you know, pushed the prices of these cars up as everything has. So, you know, eBay, I think the cheapest one you're going to find at the moment is about 1,800 quid. You can find them here and there, but most people are splitting them down for well over £1,000. So of course you're really not going to find a deal on these cars anymore. I got a deal on this one because it was sat, it wasn't for sale, and I needed to do some work to it. I'm so glad I did. I'm so glad I was like, no, I'm going back to my roots and deciding that I want another Lexus, because I feel like that's where I am happiest. And after 600, 700, 800 miles I've done in this, and we're going to creep over to that 200,000 miles in a not so distant future, I'm so happy to own this car. And hopefully one of you out there, 2 of you out there, 10 of you out there have taken something from this video and you understand what I'm talking about. Hot hatches are great. Other cars are great. This though just seems to tick every box for me, and I really do hope that I've come across relatively knowledgeable and understanding and sort of promoting the idea that this car is a great idea because of the reliability, the luxury aspect, the ease of getting in and out of it. It's just the nicest thing. But, and I'm going to say it again, and I've called this video what I've called it, you still ain't going to buy one. No one is. Do you know why? I don't know why. Please let me know in the comments below, because I can harp on about these cars all day long and still people ain't buying them. So with that, I'd like to thank you all for watching. Thank you for listening to me waffle about my GS300 today. Make sure you like today's video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't. We'll see you all on the next one.